Okay, this video is how to optimize time management. And the most important thing is to recognize that you have to have clearly defined goals. What are your goals? You should write them down, and you really can only focus on, one, two, or three things at the most. You should really sort of have like one or two major goals, and then you have some minor goals. So your major goal might be like what you want to focus your energy on to achieve. Your minor goal, and of course it's very important, but it's easier that you're good to your family, for example, your spouse and your kids, for example. Okay, but this is key because that determines where you focus all your time. A lot of the reason why people are so dissipated and inefficient is because they don't have any real significant goals. Okay, I'll kind of give you a little bit, my goal, one, to be the best doctor in the world. And then you say, well, that's a ridiculous goal. No, it's not. No one really cares. To be the best doctor in the goal, first of all, you define it. You need to, help the most patients. Well, most diseases, 75%, are diet and toxicology. So you have to study diet and toxicology, okay? Where are most of the patients? Most of the patients are just regular people. And that's a kind of a special statement because, in general, the medical system doesn't really care too much about regular people because you have no money. All right, the money comes from drug companies and device manufacturer companies and insurance companies. So the focus is on making them happy because that's where the big money comes from. The patients are kind of like irrelevant. Just give them the standard of care, measure productivity. So basically, to become a better doctor, the best doctor, there's not that much competition really because there's no money in it, okay? And the second thing is you have to say to yourself, well, who's the best? Okay, let's say for the best doctor in the world right now, it's Dr. McDougall. And it's hard for me to catch him because he's retired. He can read every day. I got to do my regular job 5 days a week. I only got 2 days a week to do this other stuff, but I love doing this other stuff. But anyways, that's a big goal. And then you got to tell the truth to people because a lot of these other doctors, you look at them and they're either one-trick ponies or they're bullshitting the public about something. For example, Esselstyn's fantastic. T. Colin Campbell, they're fantastic. They're great. They deserve Nobel Prizes, but they're kind of one-trick ponies, all right? And then there's other doctors, all of them, these famous nutrition doctors, but most of them are bullshitting the public. They're telling people it's okay to eat caffeine and soy and MSG and all this other BS, olive oil, most of them, okay? So that's kind of how I see it, all right? Then my next goal is to save civilization. And again, you could say, oh, is that a ridiculous goal? I don't think so. Because most people, basically, in their heart, they're good, but most of them are quite ignorant. They don't know, the history of civilization. They don't know about the ancient Greeks. Ancient Greeks were a major high point in civilization. The Roman Empire was a decline, a big step down from the ancient Greeks. Then there was, other high periods, scholasticism, there's the Renaissance, etc. And even though I'm, half Irish and I resent the English for a lot of things, I give them credit. The Victorian age, there was a lot of Renaissance wonderful things with John Ruskin, with Augustus Welby Pugin, and with Charles Dickens, etc. The 1800s were an incredible century for artistic achievement in literature and painting. So what I try to do is I try to, share that with the public to help them be more aware of it. We have descended. We're really in a low point of civilization right now. I mean, all you have to do is go to the artwork. Look at the stuff from the 1800s. Magnificent. The Renaissance. Magnificent. Look at modern art. It's a disgrace. It's an embarrassment. Modern architecture stinks compared to cathedrals. So what I try to do is teach people about all this great stuff so they don't accept all this garbage, because when you accept this garbage like modern art, modern academic theory, you're sort of pushed down, and we're being pushed into sort of a barbaric third world slavery and ignorance. And so, there's all kinds of great historical stuff that people don't know about. So, and you'll say to yourself, well, why would you have such ridiculously high goals? And I will say, because it gives me great energy. People say to me all the time, oh, I can't concentrate, I can't focus, I have no time to read. That's nonsense. Because it's just because they don't have focused goals. I can concentrate 12 hours straight pretty easily, and that's because I know what I'm trying to achieve. And so what I'm saying is, if you want to be a high achiever in academics or some other area, related to this, artistic, creative, have your goals straight. It'll energize you, okay? Study the people who've done great things in your field and try to be like them. All right, make a list of the entire day in 30-minute intervals. And by the way, I talk to a lot of students and other people, and they want help in academics, okay? And what I tell people is you have to have your personal philosophy straight, because if you have your personal philosophy correct, these are my goals, okay? I want to graduate first in my class. I want to be the best scientist in my area. If you say that, then you will have tremendous energy. And if you don't say that, stuff like that, you might have a hard time ever generating the energy to work. Okay, if you don't like what you're doing, you can't generate much energy. I've had friends in grad school and whatnot who, they can never get themselves to study as much as they should. And that's because they don't really want to do it. Okay, make a list in entire 30-minute intervals. Analyze that you're getting the most out of your time. So that would be, from, let's say you wake up at 6 a.m., 6 a.m. to 6:30 a.m., then to 7 a.m., to 8 a.m., etc. Avoid wasting time. Don't do anything that's a waste of time that you can avoid. Like, no, don't watch TV. If you're watching TV, you're screwing up. That means you don't have your priorities straight. You don't value your time. Don't be doing stuff that drags you down. You don't need caffeine. I don't care what, all these other people tell you. They haven't studied. You study caffeine, you won't want it anymore. I don't like beat music because boom, boom. I don't like any loud noises. Because that loud noise, boom, 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 it pushes thought out of your mind. If your goal is to be good at thinking and be smart and try to figure out some scientific discovery, you can't have bump, 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 bump. It just pushes you can't close your ears and turn them off. So I don't ever want that, okay? No alcohol, no tobacco, all that stuff's bad for you. Don't let anybody tell you alcohol's good for you. It's not even one drink a day is good for you. No MJ, and avoid stupid people. Always be polite to them. But don't drag yourself into their nonsense because they'll waste your entire day. Always be getting a little bit of reading whenever you can. Like I said, you've seen my lectures on the magic bathroom, having a big book on a portable table for number 2s, a little paperback for number 1s. So you're always knocking off a couple pages here and there, and you'll end up reading a ton like that. Because most people tell me, oh, I have no time, and they don't read a single book again the rest of their life after high school or what was required for college. But if you have these little habits of always getting in a couple pages here, a couple pages here, you'll read tons of books. Okay. Let's see. Simplify things. When you drive and you're driving in a car, always listen to an audiobook. Don't listen to the radio. It's always nonsense and repetitive. Audiobooks will get you somewhere. You can say, yeah, music can be soothing, but if you're driving more than 5-10 minutes, why not crank through an audiobook? You'll crank through tons of them that way. I go through at least one every week. When you're at home, okay, let's say I have a day off. How would I spend my day? And you could just analyze this for yourself. If you know what your goals are, if you have an academic goal, as soon as you get out of bed, you want to sit down right to work. Don't do anything else. I know some people love to work out. Well, great. If you want to be a triathlete and that's your priority, fine. But if you want to be something academic or creative, do that thing first, because that's when you're smartest and you have the most energy and you can break through new barriers. All right. And I'll usually crank until about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I might take a brief study break to get the laundry started or, start cooking some rice or something like that. But I'm pretty intensely focused because I know I'm smart. And I won't eat lunch because lunch drops your IQ. The more you eat, the worse. But it drops your IQ 20, 30 points. Like I no longer really do the complicated stuff after that. You need to, get some study breaks in there. Take brief exercise. Talk to your family or something. Try to have a friend who's interested in things that you're interested in. Like if it's a scientific medical area or something, because those conversations with them, they'll really help you to learn the field. Certain things come out of a conversation that just are hard to come out anywhere else. Also, as soon as you wake up in the morning, you'll often have these, half awake, half asleep thoughts, or you're getting in the shower, and have a piece of paper and a pen always available. Write that stuff down, because a lot of times those are great ideas. And you don't want to lose them. And always have a capture mechanism. Have like a computer file for quotes that you like. Or if you're interested in a topic, for example, I studied the Founding Fathers recently. I have a paperwork on the Founding Fathers, so if I ever decide to give a lecture on that, I've got all that information in one spot. And I do that for everything. So I can always go back to that information very quickly. So you want to build up all these files. You can write them in paper notebooks or put them on your computer, but have files on all the topics of things that are interesting you. Like I have a paper on fats, on proteins, on carbohydrates, for example. As the day goes on, you do your easier work. Okay. Also, try to weasel out of things if you can. What I mean by that is, if you can get your spouse or girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, to cook for you, let them cook for you, so you don't have to waste time doing it. It's almost like in my house. I wasn't thrilled about moving to this new house that my wife picked out, and it's real female house. There's nowhere to exercise. It's kind of, anyways, but I wasn't too happy about it, but I gained something from it. It's her house. It's her problem. Okay. She wanted to pick the dogs. I'll go, fine. Now it's her problem. She cleans up after the dog. So what I'm saying is, if other people are willing to do stuff that you don't want to do but needs to be done, get them to do it. Because you free up time. That's what you want to do, is free up as much time as you can. Because to do good intellectual work, you need these big blocks of time. And then let's see. As the day goes on, and later in the day, do the easier work, the busy work. Be getting some exercise somewhere in there. You know, be nice to the important people in your life, like your family, but, you know, read a little, go to sleep. Try to go to sleep early because nighttime is stupid time. Your brain's just not functioning at a high level. You've accumulated all these waste products in your neurons. So you usually don't want to do your challenging stuff at night. That's the time for challenging intellectual work is early in the morning. So basically, if your life revolves around achieving your goals, and you don't waste time, and you constantly analyze, how can I get more out of this time? How can I get more out of this time? Like an example, like how can I get more out of time? Let's say I'm eating. If there's no one else home, I'll listen to an audiobook while I walk around in circles. And I can get an hour of walking, a nice meal, and an hour of an audiobook. So 3 things together. And you're like, well, how? That's not really multitasking in the sense that to listen to the audiobook, that's intellectual. To eat a meal, that's visceral. And to exercise, that's musculoskeletal. Those are 3 different systems. They can all work simultaneously. You can't do 2 cognitive things simultaneously. You can't listen to 2 audiobooks at the same time. But you can do 1 cognitive thing, 1 visceral thing. When I say visceral, that means like your intestines, your liver, your digestive tract, okay? That's visceral. And then musculoskeletal is your muscles. And you can do all 3 of those things very easily. You know, and think about your ancestors. They probably did that all the time. They walked around, eating some food as they go, looking for more food, talking to their family. So they're exercising, doing something visceral and musculoskeletal. So that's easy to do. So anyways, those are some of the great secrets. If you follow those things, I think you'll find them helpful.